everyone. Welcome to the Heru Radio. I'm your host, 3.0-Aseer, along with my co-host, 3.0-Aseer, committed over 10,000 years or more, who is in the vapor right now. Hopefully he's going to bed soon, inshallah. I hope everybody's good on this Friday night. I hope things in the past week haven't been too hectic for everybody. But inshallah, you know what I mean, we'll be able to deal with some of the crazy things that's going on. Looking for the God, call me. Hey guys, I'm back. You know how it is. I'm glad you guys are patient with us whenever Blog Talk shows us how much they care about what we're talking about. You know how it is. But inshallah, one month don't stop no show. And one rap don't necessarily denote a flow. So I definitely want to say peace again to everyone. And as we are preparing for the coming of the astronomical unit that they're referring to as YU-55, which we've been first reported to you over 2.5 years ago, referred to originally as G1.9. Elenin has already made its initial trajectory jump and slingshot around the sun as it's supposed to be getting past us. So by about between the 8th and the 10th, you need to really do the knowledge to it. For those people who didn't listen to last week's show, please go back and check the archives and see how far we went in on that. I don't want to be overly redundant and keep harping on the same aspect, but it has a potential level of a 7 to 8.5 power level scale when this thing starts to pass by us. So some people are predicting that it's going to hit the moon. Some people are predicting that it's going to hit in Alaska. Either way, the powers that be ain't playing, and they've already put out a worldwide tsunami exercise warning. So, of course, they never want to tell anybody what's really happening until it's right up on you. So, again, don't rely on government. Like, everybody talks about that government is here to help and government is here to thing or whatever. But in all of the research that I've done over the years and doing analysis shit, what I am a consistent proponent and opinion of is the fact that the governments are the one killing everyone. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how benign the government or whatever the government is, specifically speaking, government is the thing that's catching the most bodies in the world right now. And people then will say, well, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to have anarchy? You're not supposed to have no government? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the earthly governments that we have been functioning under for the past 250 years is not moving. And they're not working, and they're not going to get any better. You have to understand, this is as good as it gets. What you see the United States right now as is exactly what it's going to be. It ain't getting no better than this. It ain't, you ain't going to get a better situation, you know what I'm saying, in terms of waiting for them to exchange or bring some sort of, technologically advanced society. I mean, for those of us who grew up watching the Jetsons and all that other stuff, according to them, they're supposed to have all this hooked up. They're supposed to have the New World Order hooked up by the 1950s. They're supposed to have already been in space and doing everything else they're doing. But as you can tell, they've been downgrading their applications and in the process of creating two forms of technology to have people caught up in. One form for the more technologically advanced societies, and then those societies that are not technologically advanced. The one in the plunge? The ginseng. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, and then see what happens. Okay. All right, so then just do that. So it's a situation where they create, could be. So I get it. They extracted so much time and needless opportunity that they have created a society that, in a sense, is cannibalizing itself. And anyone with eyes to see that can see that. So with all the occupiers doing anything, with all of that, whatever, that's all well and good and it's great. And this government needs a shake-up the way that it had in the 60s and everything else, just due to the fact that they are aimlessly and ceaselessly just killing people wholesale now. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. If I would have told you that you would have had a black president that would be presiding over a genocide in Africa, him and a black woman, the one that's in his cabinet, Susan Rice, who's basically taking a position Condoleezza Rice used to do. If I'd have told you back in the days that these two black men and this black man and this black woman who would become the president of the United States would be presiding over one of the biggest potential genocides in black people's history, dealing with this thing that's going on in Libya right now, you'd have said I was crazy. If I'd have told people before this nigga got elected, hey, this is what this nigga's going to do, which we did, actually. For those people who really want to do the knowledge, check out, go to www.aseerthejuketeers.com and check out the occult history of Barack Hussein Obama. That was the first part that I did. Then the second part I did was called Welcome to Obamatopia. And then the last one we did, which is a follow-up to that whole series, is Contradictions and Cover Story, in which we talked about the coming war in the coming war in Nigeria, as well as the fact that they were going to use him to destabilize the entire African continent and use him as a face of genocide for the new millennium. You know what I'm saying? And he's with it. So, again, say what you want or whatever. He's down with it. And not only is he down with it, he was actually chilling with the nigga before they killed him. This is how grimy this nigga is, man. About to think I'm talking about the so-called president. This nigga's so grimy that Gaddafi had put out this whole big letter about how he was a great man and how he needs to do this and how it's great that the black man and black woman can see him as a beneficial asset to the rise of African people all over the world. And what does this nigga do? Yes, I did. I already started. It's already in. They created a situation where they don't have no morals, man, no scruples about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So if he can do this to this dude, what's to stop him from doing that to any of us out here? Nothing. Will this nigga ever come up with a referendum to deal with the police brutality, the fact that police is out here literally brutalizing and killing people wholesale? No, he's not going to do that. And what's worse is that black people ain't even going to demand that from him. Because there's some people who believe that black people should be getting their ass whipped and all of that. And I know a lot of black people don't like hearing that, but it's true, man. You know what I mean? Like when you take the position to deal with truth, man, you got to realize that not everybody's going to like you. You know what I mean? Not everybody is going to be in a position to see things how you're seeing things. And what's worse, not everybody's going to be in a situation where they can even deal with really the ramifications of what you're saying. Because a lot of times I don't even think so much as me. Because niggas don't know me to feel offended by me. But what I'm saying can sometimes come off very absolute, and I realize that. And it can basically make it seem like there's no other alternative. Yet the alternative has always been there for us to diversify ourselves into. Yet we don't take advantage of that because we have a vested interest, or some of us have a vested interest in how this society is orchestrating and running itself. You know? So, again, with all of the police brutality and the killings and all of that, you think black people would stop? You think brothers and sisters would stop trying to become police? No. They said that quote-unquote minority applications to the police force have increased. So it seems like the more they're killing us, the more they're doing things to kill those of us that's not involved or with any of their agencies in that way. The more they create situations, the more they foster the fear within black people to want to do the same thing to themselves. So this cannot continue. I don't know about you guys, but I'm at the point I'm saying this thing really cannot continue, and yet still, of all of the situations that we've had, we've given solutions or what we could feel could be potential solutions to it. Let's start our own police force. Let's start our own, have our own security exchange situation where we can watch or whatever goods or whatever services that we provide to start bringing money back into our community. But I don't hear nobody talking about that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, again, specifically speaking, we got to deal with where we at. And where we at is we are a fractured people. So, as a fractured people, we have to decide, how deep that fracture is in order to fix it, both metaphysically, theoretically, rhetorically, however it needs to be fixed. This is how we need to do it. Yet, we have to first come up or agree on what the agenda to fix it is going to be. That's what you're seeing play out now in the bureaucracies of the United States. Because really what's going on is that the bureaucracies of the United States are functioning from the fact that they have, again, split you into two different people. So that second person that's basically a corporate citizen of the United States is out here running amok and going all out, doing crazy shit, but essentially not really providing anything of substance for the people. That's why the government now is moving into a strata of democratic socialism. For those people who don't understand what democratic socialism is, there was a movement in the black community a long time ago called the Heru movement, of which I did outreach for back in the days when I used to chill out with M from Dead Press. And we used to do outreach programs and stuff like that. We used to run it out of the promotion house in Brooklyn, big up Brooklyn. And we used to have like little classes and things like that. And the guy who started that, the chairman, Yeshua, I believe his name is a democratic socialist. But democratic socialism, again, is just another form of an aspect of anarchic communism, which essentially basically says that, the people are the ones that have the power and the people are the ones supposed to give it back. But at the same time, if the people don't have consciousness of their power, then they're not going to be able to really do anything with the power that they got. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do the knowledge. We're going to take a call real quick from a good brother who's going to put us on as to one of these police instances in which they've attacked some of our Moorish family. Hold on. Peace, Mo. Can you hear me? Peace.
Yeah, man. I'm chilling, man.
Peace, fam. How you, man?
I'm maintaining God. This is Heru Bay. I've listened to your show for a while now. I usually don't call in because I'll be working, so usually I have your show programmed to my iTunes. So once it comes up the day after I watch it, what have you. I listen to it rather. But I'm chilling, God. Just keeping quiet, trying to keep calm, and not get too excited because at the same time we want to be wise in our decision making, and we want to be calm long enough to make wise decisions.
Indeed.
I have a brother of mine who I went to college with many years ago. His name is Sean El Allah Bey. He was a part of the Moorish Science Temple, and I think Clock of Destiny too, if I'm not mistaken. He's been around for 13 years. He used to put me on about Moorish Science when we were in college. You know what I'm saying? So his brother's a good brother. He owns a store in South Jamaica, Queens, and what happened was him and his parents, so they're well known in the community. They have a lot of community respect, and there's a house next to the store, if I'm not mistaken. He knows the people in the house, so he went to go help the guy with the garbage. Everybody's outside witnessing this. At least 10 police stormed in front of the house, and they didn't ask them. They said they had a warrant, and my brother was like, "Wait a minute, I have nothing to do with that." a store owner, and I believe leave. So police didn't want to listen to nothing. He told me he was vigilant, that he had committed no crime, and that you know, he wanted to be on his way. Police didn't listen to him, automatically just stomped him out.
Oh my God!
Smashed his head to the concrete, messed up his legs, black and blue his eyes. I mean, they even assaulted his mother, and his mother was a store owner. You know what I'm saying? So when he seen that, he tried to fight back because he seen his mother getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? And they beat him up even more. I mean, the brother that he was with, he got beat up. He got beat up in front of his little baby son, and his son was screaming for his daddy.
What's his status now? Where's he at now?
Right now he's in the hospital. His father, he's in the hospital with his family. I'm going to see him tomorrow. So I don't really know right now because they're not really returning calls at this moment. So I'm going to find out all the details tomorrow. What happened was, according to the information that I received, they had a warrant for somebody in that particular house. They didn't say who.
Right.
But the warrant was issued 12 o'clock a.m., and they came at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God. Lawless. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so how is it you have a warrant issued 12 a.m. in the morning, and you come at 5 p.m.?
Exactly.
You can't do that.
And how are you going to – and how is it nobody's name is on the warrant? So it was just basically an open warrant. You could just go in there and beat up and kill whoever you want.
And they didn't even, the brother asked.
What I'm thinking is that them police, what's going on too is that them police is functioning like death squads. Remember back in the days when they used to have Crash and TNT and all of that?
Yes,
and they let them people loose and they started coming into the crib and started just killing people and all of that. This is essentially what's going on with these people. And in New York, this is in New York, right?
Yes, sir. This is Queens, New York.
Yeah. So, you know, in New York, that's dealing with the Empire State. So, what's up, buddy? Did this happen? When did this happen? Today or yesterday?
I think it happened yesterday. I recently got the call.
Thursday, right?
Yes, I recently got the call a couple of hours ago. What makes this interesting is that they beat him up with no, and they didn't answer any of the questions. Just beat him up. They locked him up and chained him to the table inside the central booking, and didn't see him until midnight the following day. You know what I'm saying?
They wanted him to die. It was a ritual. It was a ritual. Yes, it was a Hiram ritual where the ruffians came to beat up Hiram and left him for dead in a shallow grave. Right?
Yes.
They didn't have no warrant. They didn't have no prior. He had no priors and no nothing. He said
the brother wasn't even in the house. The brother was outside. What you doing? You know what I'm saying?
That makes me feel like they may have targeted this brother specifically because the policeman's benevolent. The Fraternal Order of Police is a Masonic order.
Yes, sir.
And them people follow Masonic lore and all of that. We know about Sweeps Week. We know what's up on Thursdays, every other Thursday. We just talked about that shit on the show. How they'll just come through on every other Thursday and then just try to just do shit with open warrants, whatever they need to do, just to maintain whatever quota that they got to fulfill.
Federal bonds.
Yes, sir, to match them federal bonds. So specifically speaking, unfortunately, our brother was taken advantage of in this situation. So, again, I would say if you find out anything else about that brother, can you email me so that way I can post it on my Facebook page, shit out there, so people can actually go down there and demand something. Those people who live in Queens, this is a killer in the community.
He has a court date December 9th. I'm going to get all that information for you, but what makes it interesting
is
that...
man. Let's do it. Let's have a big campaign and have hundreds, if not thousands of people. If niggas can occupy Wall Street for bullshit, why don't we start occupying police precincts for fucking, for police brutality until they do something about it, man? In front of the damn
what makes it interesting is that what I was told was that they have this on YouTube.
They got it on YouTube too?
That's what I heard. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to get all the information. I'm going to get all, but the community came out because you have to understand. This brother is a leader in the community. He's a business owner. He does a lot of things for that particular community in that geographical location in South Jamaica, Queens. So he's well known as a brother that does a lot for the community. So the community came out and videotaped the incident. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to get, from what I heard, Sean Bell's wife is getting involved, and Al Sharpton, I don't know what he's gonna do, but you know.
Oh my God! See, that's what they don't need to do. Leave that boule piece of shit out of it, man. He's there. He's a bag man. He ain't gonna help. All he gonna do is bring attention to it, and then basically try to get niggas to get locked up, because he get money off of that. That's the other thing. You brought him up. He get money off of that. He get money off of them people doing them sit-ins and getting you locked up. He getting a check behind all of that shit, man. Don't believe that nigga. Keep that nigga out. Like, bring the real nigga in, man, but, you know, be careful.
It's the time to be calm and to be alert and to be wise.
That's right.
And to be spiritually grounded as well, because this can happen to any of us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these people didn't even ask questions. These people didn't even ask questions. They just stomped them. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even get a chance to ask them He didn't even get a chance to ask them who signed the warrant.
See,
you know
they just automatically attack because they feel they could do that, because that was the ritual. It wasn't about who was that. The ritual was whoever spoke up about this shit is the one we're going to turn into Hiram. Stomp out and damn near kill. And then what? They're going to charge them. And they brought him to jail, bleeding, bloody and all that. Put him back in, and then what? What you going to charge him with now? Resisting arrest?
They tried to charge him with resisting arrest. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Have a good night, buddy. Exactly. Like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to charge him with now? What was he doing? He was in front of his store helping this man out of the thing. He asked you a question, so you're going to lock him up. But what they'll probably do, try to flip it on some obstruction of justice, right? Resisting arrest, right? After he's already been unconscious and all this other shit, right? And what's even worse is that there was probably some black pigs there, too, helping these white devils do this shit to us, man.
Yep.
You know it was.
The problem is real. This is a problem. And you said earlier that black people don't even care about other black people getting injured. That's sick. That's sick. And it shows that we have a deep psychological. I don't even want to call in for this, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? I wish I didn't have to call in for this. You know what I'm saying? But it's sick. This is sick, and, it really bothers me personally, because this is my brother. I went to college with this brother. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of things with this brother. I have a lot of history with this brother. It's not like I just know him for a couple of moments.
No, I know him for every day. Joe Schmo dude, whatever, and somebody that's not contributing nothing. Not to even make it like that would make it better, but situationally speaking,
he's a store owner, number one, and number two, they hurt his mom.
Productive member of society.
What you expect him to do? What you expect a man to do if you put your dirty, nasty hands on your mother?
No, you're supposed to let him do it. And the thing is, like I said, this is what I'm saying. Anybody that becomes a part of that organization is mentally ill. You have to be ill to be down with something like that. When you know that this is the instance, this is the impetus of what the whole situation was set up to do. It's set up to prey on it. We are under siege, man. And have been for years, and not one black representative, leader, anybody comes out and deals with that shit. Nobody in the Black National Caucus and none of that shit. And they be killing and preying on them niggas. Look at what they did to Henry Louis Gates. And his piece of shit ass. You know? This is
and what they want people to do. See, you know what? The more I realize the condition we're in, because a lot of us are conscious, but we don't really understand the real condition that we're really in, for real.
No, we don't. They don't.
You know what I'm saying? This is straight a hunt to kill.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
This is a predator situation. We have a living predator. The same way a shark can be a predator to a smaller fish or whatever. We at one time were the natural predators of these devils. But these devils have now made it we're the point where we're preying on ourselves. We helping them kill us. We helping them. This is how deep our apathy has become, how deep
I tell you, brother, you need to do another show on Black Nazism. You need to do it because if people need to get it.
Yeah, God, you're right. You're absolutely right, God.
And you hear it over and over again because they become brainwashed with it, and they start waking up and realizing that you're facilitating your own genocide, idiot.
Yes, that's what these people want to do, and it's like the more you try to convince them of that, you know what I'm saying? The more it's like, oh well, nah, you just on that black shit, or now all black people is like that or whatever. There's some black. No. If it happens to all of us, man.
I can even go further than that. I'm not even going to touch certain things yet, but I'm going to tell you something. Anytime you're in a community that is besieged with suffering and poverty, that's the community where the police get away with the most mess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's right.
Not only just that, the education system is poor. You have people who are getting paychecks, you know what I'm saying, and not giving a hell about the students. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a real mess that's going on here, and it's like you have to educate your children. You know what I'm saying? You have to educate them. You have to love yourself enough to save your children. If not the children, your children. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have the
little babies.
If you don't have the testicular fortitude to arm yourself with knowledge to defend your baby, you know what I'm saying, then you have no right to exist on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
You have no right to exist at all.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame, and I'm very upset, you know what I'm saying, because how this man is not even a big man. You know what I'm saying? This dude is a skinny, short dude. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And 10 police officers? 10?
Yes, but that's how scared they are. But that's how scared they are of the original man. With that one brother, it's that David and Goliath shit, man. That's why they gotta come so deep. Because when God sends somebody, He sent one person. When the devil sends somebody, He sent 100 niggas. He sent
legions, hell yeah,
legions,
you know what I'm saying,
to rock with it, and it still don't work. I'm just glad the brother's still alive.
Yes, sir. Actually, what I also heard too was that they're trying to get media attention on this. I'm going to find out more detail tomorrow when I visit the brother, because they're trying to make it associated with Sean Bell due to the fact that the police don't ask no questions. They just kill you or brutalize you to the point where you can't even breathe. You know what I'm saying? So luckily, the community came out and they witnessed it and they have it all on tape. I'm going to watch it myself. You know what I'm saying? Because it needs to be. I'm gonna
keep posting it, and I'm gonna keep doing whatever I can do. I'm with it. Like somebody needs to go in, and people need to realize, especially, and this affects everybody. White people, black people, whatever. All these white people, you buying up and taking all of these black babies in the streets. They don't stay black babies for long. When they get to be older and they get to be a young little man, a young little black woman, then they are now potentially the threat too. So they going
and look at his brother. Now you have people. You have a small group of black people who are able to get out of this struggle, and they're so shook of their own community that they want to move to the white community. And who can really blame them?
They won't even come in. You know why? Because the white man has told them, if you do anything to help these niggas, we gonna help you. So these niggas is like, you know what? We ain't gonna do it. So all of them black celebrities, every one of them black celebrities that you see on TV, from Oprah on down, even the black ones, the ones that's supposed to be luminaries, the Sharptons and the Tavis Mars, all of them niggas useless. They are useless. They are useless to you as a black. All they can do is dance for you and make records.
And look at this. This is the thing that amazes me. They talk about black nationalism. How do you nationalize?
Exactly.
How do you nationalize? What's the process of black nationalism for people to get nationalized under black, if you want to use that title? Come on, tell me. I like to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So let me get witty on the phone now. It can happen. I'm a rapper. You know what I'm saying? But and I want this to be put out there that no, we're not seeking no fame for this. We're not seeking no popularity for this. This is my brother, and he got hurt.
No, this is real.
This is the only outlet that I can get on to let the people know, You know what I'm saying? Because I can't get on no CBS or NBC. They ain't trying to hear this. I'd be on the waiting list for that.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So brothers like Aseer, I can call them immediately when somebody gets injured that's close that we all know and put the community on focus. Now, my question now is that all the Moors, with all the affidavits y'all file, with all the stuff y'all know, use your intelligence. This is the brother who's been in the community. This is the brother who's been in the community. This is the brother who supported, you know what I'm saying, different Moorish events in Manhattan. Don't let me name the names now. You know what I'm saying? Has been down to these organizations, have promoted, have spent money. What y'all going to do? Help us. We need help. Every Moor doesn't know everything. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We don't know every single thing. We know some stuff, but we don't know everything. But we need support. And I told him, if you get on the TV, if you get on the radio show, wear your fez, God.
That's right, God. Wear your fez,
God.
Wear that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right, God.
So
have your flag behind you.
Have
your flag behind you on the TV and everything.
That's right. Make that a bat signal, you know what I'm saying, for all the Moors who's in the region and all over to wake up and do something. This brother didn't do nothing.
Now
I personally know this man. This man doesn't do nothing. He stays in his store every day. He does nothing. We come on. We're not 19 years old.
And let's take it out of the context. Let's take it out of the context.
Yes,
let's say he did do something, not him. But let's say a brother in a situation who did do something. He still don't deserve to get stalked out
That's right.
by
That's
10
right.
different police, man. That's not their job. They are policy officers. They have to maintain public policy, protect property. That's it. If they coming through with a warrant that don't even have no name on it, that's an open warrant. They could put anybody's name on that shit. That's illegal. That's why this niggas allegedly for the revolution. But see, again, we're not in that country that founded that revolution. We're not. That's not even the same federal government. We don't have, not us, but the country doesn't have 4 or 5 different federal governments since 1776. So you don't know what federal. You don't know who's running this shit. Come on, man. They don't even have the ability to keep the lights on when it rain hard in Long Island. But you mean to tell me that these people have the ability to actively sit down and justify this bullshit? No.
And you know what's more ill, too, brother? You know what's more ill, too? And, you know, in a couple of days, the government could shut down. And that means if that does happen, that means if that does happen, pray to God. And it's even messed up because you got to pray to God it don't. Because if that happens, then the police going to be more lawless and they beating everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
You know
because then the states are going to have more of the jurisdiction within themselves.
That's right.
And the police are going to turn themselves into somewhat pseudo-malicious if they don't call out the
right.
guard first.
That's right.
So
That's right.
they're doing, for those people who don't know, you can check last Friday's show. No, what was it? Monday's show, we went in on the actual protocol of what's happening. But they're doing a worldwide tsunami test on the 8th. They're doing a nationwide test of shutting down the internet. At least that's what they're saying they want to do.
Wow.
And they're also doing this is also the same day between the 8th, 9th, and 10th when this thing is supposed to be passing between us and the moon.
That's right.
The moon and the
That's
sun.
right.
So some people are talking about that it's going to be this. So whatever's going down.
You know, the officials going to be hiding in Denver over there.
Yeah, you know, they already got that popping. Then, like I said, you got your black president and his black advisor presiding over a potential genocide of an African nation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And and you know what? I'm gonna make this very clear. We're not anti-American. We anti-oppression.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? We don't. Exactly. We want to be. We observe the law. We obey the law. You know what I'm saying? To the fullest extent, even if it's in our demise, to avoid conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And unless we're pushed to the gate where we have no opportunity left. You know what I'm saying? But I pray to God that day don't come. I pray to God that day don't come.
I really,
you know what I'm saying?
I really, you know, it's like it's a double-edged sword. It's like all of us who talk about we want to see a new day and a new thing. Like that shit just don't happen. We got to do something.
Yes, sir.
We got to actually. God help those who help themselves. So
right.
if we are the body of Christ, we got to move like a body, man.
Yes, sir.
And like the brother said, to reiterate, to piggyback on what you're saying and add on, I'm not anti anything except oppression and Nazism. You know what I'm saying? If I hate anything in the world, if I do hate anything in the world, that damn Nazism, man. That shit is the
That's
worst.
Right.
Because
that's right. Please, brother, do a lecture. Come out here to New York or something. Do a lecture on that black Nazism. Make that a big issue. That black Nazism needs to be put out, brother. You know what I'm saying? You need to do it, man.
That's real, man.
Because it's deep out here. Because you can't even talk to regular black people no more about certain stuff. You gotta be watch what you talk about to your own people.
Yeah, because they'll start to buck up on you on some protecting this shit, on some like, oh, it's not all like that. We it's beyond. This is the new shit when you hear these black people when they say shit like, oh, it's beyond race. It's beyond race now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This is.
Yeah, come on, you got this black teenager, 19-year-old teenager that says it's okay to wear lipstick. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's a rapper. With leggings. Do this little B shit.
Yeah. He's wearing lipstick and leggings, and he's walking around talking about he's free. Talking about he wants everybody else to be free. Are you kidding me? Like, that's insane.
Why does freedom equate you being a female?
Yes.
Why are you equating freedom as being something other than yourself? When if you really wanted to be free, brother, like you could, you have no problem dressing up in a lipstick and leggings and all that. Great, brother, you can do that and claim freedom, but go out there in with a red, black, and green flag or a universal flag or a Morris flag or some other shit like that talking about that. Or go out there talking about with a flag talking about down with police brutality or down with banksters and everything else. Then you see what happens. Then they'll give you the type of freedom they're giving them people in Oakland and the people in New York and everything else. But see, the people in Oakland don't be having it because since that Oscar Grant shit, they've been popping it. They go athletes. It's like Beirut. Them niggas is throwing rocks and bottles and all types of shit at the police now. Like it's
you know what? You know what's so ill about all this? The first agenda. See, this is what makes me. I'm not going to stay too long on your show because I want to listen to what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? But what makes this so upsetting and weird when Obama, and we already know what time it is, but when Obama became president, he was so-called active in his community, wherever he in Chicago, supposedly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't it be his first agenda as a president of, occupier, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of the seat.
Right.
To attack police brutality against indigenous people in the community that he protected, why didn't he do that?
Well, you see what happened when he came out with the Henry Louis Gates thing. He had regular police officers coming out, and he didn't even really say nothing. He skirted around that shit mad timid with his tail between his legs, and they still barbecued his ass for that. And to the point where you have regular police officers coming out totally defecating on the president. On the person they call the president.
You got people in the military that don't respect this man. I mean,
what did he do? And what did he do? Like a good little boy, like a good Toby, what did he do? He went and he called the dude who beat him up and then called the guy who got beat up and then sat down and had a beer. Sat down.
Let's be technical, bro. We can't even say Toby because at least he fought back. We got to say Chicken George.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's true. Let's keep it 100.
Chicken George. Chicken George the whole street.
Let's call him Token. Let's call him Token. So the President Token just sat down and had a beer, took off his jacket, rolled up his sleeves, and sat down with Henry Louis Gates, who still got his eye all smashed up. He's sitting here with his black eye or whatever, still beat up, sitting there with the white devil police officer whose name was Crowley. So you tell me what ritual is going on. To the point that, do you know that these devils, because it could only be a devil to do something like that, regardless of what color they are, that these devils have decided that they want to commit the handcuffs that Henry Louis Gates was arrested with to the Smithsonian.
What?
For exhibition. That's right, for exhibition, where you can go and see the handcuffs that locked up the black man, Boule man, who got beat up to the point, or who got violated to the point that he had to sit down and had the first ever beer, police brutality victim who have a beer with the president.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. You know, this time, man, whatever's supposed to come into this atmosphere, please come. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. Because you straight up now, I don't think that
people really need a dose of humility for real, man. For real.
Yes, sir. Because this is not going to end. This is not going to end. It's only going to get worse, and the worse it gets, the more sleep people get. The more people become more sleep. The more people become more docile, more suckering. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And anybody who's saying, oh, you're just trying to cause trouble. No, nigga.
Yeah.
You know, so we're not trying to cause trouble. We're trying to alert people that people are we're in danger, specifically us as indigenous people.
For real, there has to be an alternative voice to say that this is not how it's supposed to be, just for the sake of you don't know what will happen in the time. Who knows what galactic, and how you going to have a direct experience with some sort of galactic entity or call down some manifestation from a different realm or whatever, and you can't even directly know how to communicate yourself to a basic fictitious authority down here. All of these are tests, and a lot of us are failing drastically. This is a test based on what happened with this brother, unfortunately being put in this position of the Heru. Now, this is going to be a test for the Moors, the MST of A that he was a part of, as well as the Moorish community in that greater tri-state area, man. Y'all got to do something, man. This is an attack on y'all, because then it's going to increase. There was already the instance where they tried to come to the Moor's house to take his baby, and he demonstrated on them to the point and had it on YouTube to the point where, you know, they just not even dealing with him, and that shows you that they are loyalists. That is evidence of the fact that they don't have the jurisdiction to do the stuff they're doing. However, you have a lot of disgruntled black men and black women who are part of that organization. And then you have some who are part of that organization who be listening to us, who be really feeling or want to roll with us. But for whatever reason, you in it. So if you're going to do it, do what the Bloods is doing. They just did a whole expose on how the Bloods is basically taking over the army. These niggas is going over there and blooding the army out, son. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Popping off at the officers and shit, and doing blood signs, initiating other people from different countries into the organization through the army.
Wow.
But that's what
it's powerful how
what everybody else do. That's what the Tongs do. That's what the Yakuza did. That's what the Irish Army did. These niggas was like, you know what? They locked us up. Let's go to the army and learn how to fight even more.
That's right.
And then come out.
It's powerful, brother. It's powerful how an idea can shape reality for people. Period. One idea. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, brother, I'm not gonna stay too long because you know I definitely got to take care of my seed. And, you know, and I respect fathers anyway. So you a father, so you know we already have a bond already due to the fact that we are fathers and competent fathers at that. You know what I'm saying? The raising our children right, and that's community right there. That's freedom right there. That's liberation right there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, to sister Selena and you, I wish y'all the best. I listen to y'all a lot. I'm saying even when I can't do what I can do, at least I listen to you guys. I'm saying to gain inspiration. When I'm down, when I'm not feeling, I'm saying good, I listen to you guys. In fact, I just want to let it be known that because I've seen you fight against your financial oppression with the baby mama thing, it helped me, inspire me to do the same. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, brother.
Peacefully at that. We ain't talking about beating up baby mama, but peacefully. It inspired me to go fight for my child. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the system don't care about me or the mother. They care about the money. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And their thing is the money is the child, because the child will be a part of the institution in a few years because he ain't going to be able to act right because he's in a situation that's discombobulated. You know what I'm saying? So he's the property. He's the real money that he wants. So, you know, any father who took care of their children, number one, and fighting to save their children, I respect. You know what I'm saying? And raising their children, that's who I respect the most.
Indeed.
You already know God, I respect to the fullest, you know what I'm saying? Based on that and plus whatever else, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I want all the Moors out there, you know what I'm saying, who are listening to the radio to please, when I do give the brother updates on this brother, do something. You know what I'm saying? Say something.
Support,
you know what I'm saying? He's going to be in, I'm going to get this court date. Do something because this is you. this will happen to you too. This will happen to you too. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're part of an organization or not. You need support.
Whether you're down with them, whether you a cop or not, they'll do it to you. You could be a police officer. They don't care.
Yeah. You know, and speaking of the fact that you just said that, I think I seen someone on the internet where the state police officer arrested the city police officer.
Yeah, for speeding.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
For speeding. He was like, yo, you bugging. You lawless. You out here bugging. You understand? This is a different jurisdiction, nigga. You gotta go to jail. This is the level that it's gotten to. You understand? But even the white people is like, look, this is out of control.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for calling, brother. Thank you for
I'll keep you up to date, God.
When you get more, holler back.
Peace to the Super Heru family. I'll speak to you again.
Thank you.
One God.
Peace. Yeah, man, it's real, y'all. It's real. So stay tuned for that. And whatever goes down, whoever's up there, please orchestrate, do something, demonstrate. All of them more. This is really more important than banging on each other, and more important than, whose ideology is better. This is about this is a symbolic ritual attack in a Hiram-style ritual. So, we got to do something. All that paperwork, all of them feathers, we got to make something happen. Peace to all of the freedom fighters and liberation fighters in Oakland and all of the other states, Wisconsin, that are going in both aggressively and passively against the overall foreclosure of the United States of America. Of the United States of America, of the United States, period. See if we got any calls. Go to 323. You on Super Heru Radio?
Peace.
Peace, brother. How you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, King. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. This is Young Taekwondo, man.
Yes, indeed. You know what's going on, brother?
Oh, man, I'm just happy to be able to get through, man. I've been trying to call for a while, man, you know what I'm saying, to get on and talk to you a little bit, man. One thing I want to say is peace to you and the fam, you know what I'm saying, the seed and everything, man. And, man, your work, dude, is just, man, I'm telling you, it's been helping me in more ways than one. Not to mention, you know what I'm saying, whatever, I work at a church, so you already know the business.
Oh, you already know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
No.
So, yeah, like I said, right. So, trust me, man. Right, exactly. So, basically, everything that, you know what I'm saying, whatever that you've been saying and for us to do the knowledge of science on, I've been doing that, man, and it's just like, whoa. And I got a couple friends, you know what I'm saying, that I talk to, you know what I'm saying, not really like that, but I just, you know, give them little bits and pieces of information for themselves so they can go ahead, you know what I'm saying, whatever, and do for themselves and know what's going down. But, man, I'm telling you, it's so severe, dude. It is so severe. I got this one cat. His name is, I forgot this cat name, but he's from New York. And I'm just, like, surprised and shocked at him because I'm like, dude, I said, man, you don't really see this stuff going on in front of your face, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah. And I'm just like, dude, come on, man. I mean, like I was telling him, I said, look, man, I'm not trying to get you to change over or whatever situation may be, but you just need to recognize what's really going on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. You know, I mean, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? So I just left it alone, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and, you know what I'm saying, I left it alone, and I was just telling him, like, man, just, you know what I'm saying, peace to you, bro, and, you know what I'm saying, hopefully some way, somehow, you could be able to get, you know what I'm saying, whatever, get past what you want, because, like, for instance, I don't know what show it was. I think it was maybe your 4th or maybe 5th show. I think you end up saying something about Adola Bob. Oh man. Dude. I was like, oh man. Right, because see, what happened with me like 2 years ago, I was steady stuck on the stuff they was on. And how I got out of that, I got to listening to Bobby. So when I got to listening to Bobby, and he broke it down because he had a lecture, you know what I'm saying, on what if your God was the devil. So I kept listening to that. Yeah, man, so I kept listening to that for a minute, man. And I was just like, wow, and they broke it down, and it took me all the way back to that. And just listening to him telling me what was going on with that whole thing, I understood everything that he was talking about to the point where I had to sit back and be like, yo, I got to ease back up off this stuff, son.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, I really literally have to ease back off this stuff because this stuff wasn't really meant for us. So I understood the subjection and everything that I was under and the stuff happening to me and family members and all this and that. So I'm just like, man, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of happy, man, that I'm actually be able to talk to you cats, you know what I'm saying, and be able to, you know what I'm saying, follow along with y'all and be able to do the, you know what I'm saying, the knowledge of science myself, you know what I'm saying, and everything. I'm like really super excited about that, man. I appreciate everything y'all doing, man. Everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it as well, man. For real.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
That's how you got to look out for these people because it always will bust down to what they believe as real is what they know isn't.
Right.
So everything that we're dealing with in the 20th century is based on some sort of esoteric deal or oath that was taken during the 19th century.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yet they constantly put out that what people perceive as this, what we're talking about, they are not really doing the things that we're saying they're doing, that it's an exaggerated form of expression based on some sort of paranoia and inferiority that we feel based upon their quote-unquote place in society. So because we feel that they're not, or that we're not financially viable or successful, that we are still suffering from our self-hate, which is true. Yet it is still perpetuated from the perspective that they are the dominant. Like, you look at International Magazine, you don't see no black people in none of them.
Not at all.
And when you do, it's always special. So even though, they're telling you they're not choking you while they're choking you. You know what I'm saying? So part of you, to get them to stop choking you, starts to buy into that in hopes that they'll ease up.
Right.
You know? But eventually what that means is that you basically started choking yourself. They've got you to now choke yourself. You're now trying to find a way to appease them instead of fighting to break out.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm doing because now I'm actually beating them I was just thinking about it, man, not to cut you off, but I was just thinking about it like, wow, out of all those people, man, it's only like maybe I'm going to say 2 people out of all those people that really understand and know what's really going on. And that's me and the person that's in charge of everything.
Right. Right, and that's the game. And that's always the game of any situation that you come in contact with. And that's how it's been. It's just now that this incarnation, we've got to the level where we can dissect it like this.
Right.
But it took us years. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Hey, you know what? You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right, man, because I'm telling you, I've been trying to figure this out for the longest, and I finally got a chance to, like, really figure everything out to the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of like in the driver's seat now, you know what I'm saying, because I already understand what's at stake and what's going on right now to the point where I don't have to take part in that because I'm already understanding the game.
So it's just about understanding the different levels of the game as it unfolds and modifying your overall plan when that happens. That's all you can really do, you know, and unify with those people that want to do that. But for those people who don't, you don't waste time and energy on trying to get them to see things clearly. All you could do is tell them. Once you give them the knowledge, that's it. You can keep it moving.
Right.
Now they can never say they didn't know.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They can never say they didn't know.
Exactly. Because, yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, I've been listening to you for quite a while, and it's interesting, you know, on the things that you've been telling me, because the things that you've been saying and stuff, you know what I'm saying, you know, I've been doing my knowledge and research to it, you know what I'm saying, like I know this one word that you were telling me about, and you said it'd be almost, you said the word be in the place where, you know what I'm saying, where it'd be a lot of people and it start with an O. And when you broke down the science on that, I was just like, yo, I was like, oh, man. So even at my times of me going to work or whatnot, you know, I'll be in there by myself. So I sit there, and I'll sit up in there, and I'll be, you know, making my rounds, making sure the doors and stuff is checked and everything. And I sit up there and look, and I'll be like, oh, this is what my boy was talking about. I said, oh, yeah, and then, yeah, exactly. So at that time, you know, instead of me closing up and everything, I'll be like, oh, man, I can't wait to get home so I can go in and do the knowledge on this. This is the same thing my boy was talking about. So it's just like, wow. So each and every time that I listen to you, you're always giving me something that I can go in and take to the point where I can go in and witness. So when it comes time for me to go to work, you know what I'm saying, whatever I can go in and do the knowledge and science to at the same time while I'm at work, you know what I'm saying, to really recognize what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, man, that's powerful, dude.
Glad I can help, man. Glad I can help.
Man. Man, I appreciate it so much, man.
I appreciate it, brother. So thank you for calling, my king. And
all right, man.
And
all right, peace.
Down.
Oh,
and,
yeah, most definitely.
And thanks for calling again, bro.
Yeah, anytime, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
$718. You want to Heru Radio? $718. Okay. 770. You want to Heru Radio?
Peace.
Peace. How you doing?
Hello. Oh, it's like every week I'm automatically in the host queue, whether I press one or not. Two things.
What's going on?
With the African children that had been adopted by white people, they had something in the news where they was like so religious that they beat them and abused them and they died.
Yes.
The first girl was Lydia, and I think the second girl was Jessica. And then also, the prince said that he was a descendant from Dracula.
Yep.
On the news to save the rainforest. Do you think those are like correlated? I know it's kind of like separate, but everything kind of fits together.
Of course, it's all blood ritual. They're not adopting these black babies just to give them good homes. If they wanted to do that, they could get, you know, there's more orphaned Caucasian children in Eastern Europe than anywhere else in the world. Yet they ain't going over there and buying them because they don't want them, because they are purposely killing them. They want the Africans, who they purposely killing too, but with the Africans and the Black American children, they're able to do genetic things where they can extract blood from them and give it to the family and have sex with them and harvest things from them. You know, this is what they do. So this is why you don't see black people going out and buying white babies. You don't ever see that. You see white people. All of that is part of what they call the human trafficking network, which is a subdivision or a sub-directive of this agenda they have called the transhumanist agenda, where they're looking to upgrade their genetics by infusing it with the base genetics of the original population, and thereby creating some sort of super indigenous blood type or creation that they then can infuse into them, where they then will interfuse that with some sort of cybernetic organisms to then hopefully go into alternate dimensions, go into the inner earth, whatever they believe they can do based upon whatever it is they have of ours that says we have the ability to do that. So what they do with us is get us to be the base foundation of whatever genetic work they do. So whenever they're trying to find out something about themselves, they use a monkey. You know what I'm saying? So whenever they want to find out something about the universe, they use us. See what I'm saying? So it's a way of their. This is all the Yakub thing that's been going on, but has now modified itself where they are now creating or trying to create Be God and now try to create another alternative life to hopefully replace them or help them fight us. The same way we, in a sense, once we created them and civilized them enough, started to use them against each other to create what we are living in now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's just
they're doing now.
Yeah, they're using these babies, these Haiti babies, the sex trafficking. All of that is under the jurisdiction. The satanic stuff is under the jurisdiction of the Pentagon, and the quote unquote mind control stuff is under the CIA specifically. But then the NSA has its hands in all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all related. Just like they just convicted the Jew who was cutting up the little boys and stuff in Crown Heights. You heard about that?
Oh no, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, there was this Hasidic Jew from this Jewish sect who was cutting up boys and stuff like that, and eating them and doing all types of crazy stuff in Crown Heights. So they caught him. One of the people got away and broke out of the community and told him, but they was keeping him a secret all up to that point because that's how they do. So he just got convicted. So we'll see if he gets to jail or they find some way to ship him to Israel or some shit. You know how they do.
Yeah, these people are monsters.
They are.
Oh my goodness.
Literally.
Oh.
Literally.
And I have one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with, I think what Serene Jensen, like the reporter, I think she was reporting on a music award show, and she just started talking like gibberish.
Yes, I saw that.
And then there was a story on the news about this girl in Georgia who woke up with a British accent.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, the energy that's coming upon us are, reverting people back to something that they used to be but just don't remember? What do you think about that?
I think it could be that or what they are going to be or always wanted to be and never felt they could. Or it could all be a psychological operation where they want to make us think that. Or it could be a situation where they're triggering these people, or these people they're triggering these people, and these people really believe that. Therefore, they'll test positive if really questioned. Yet, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they are seeing. Or the people could be lying. Or, you see, and that's the problem.
It could be anything, basically.
Right. And that's what I'm saying about this reality. You see how nothing is, they want everything to be concrete, but nothing really can be that anymore. It seems that nothing that you thought was consistent or real can sustain itself anymore. It's like everything that they try to put out seems like it's a joke, or it's like a TV show, or it's like not real. And the more this guy tries to inspire, like that whole upswell of emotion that everybody had when this puppet became president, that was what everybody was feeling, was not only the joy of the symbolic rise of the original man and woman and child up to that point, regardless to what satanic agenda he represented to them and all this other stuff, to us, what it represented to us specifically in the manifestation of that occurrence was a beautiful thing. But what we were also happy about was that it was something that we all could be passionate about. You know what I'm saying? Because up until that point, up until 9/11, right before 9/11, there was going to be a sweep of white collar crime criminals, people who was all of these people who did all the stuff that's in jail, that's doing the stuff now with the banks. All of them people was about to go to jail. All of the people in the government was about to go to jail. It was imminent. It was a part of this thing they had called NASARA, which was the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. And they said it was never passed, but it was already active because there was a faction within the United States government that was making it happen. So right when that was about to happen, you see what I'm saying, it coincided with the agenda of the whole 9/11 thing, and all that went away. So by the time now of this whole scandal thing that happened with it, right before they put out the stimulus, everybody was basically primed. So by the time George Bush had beat the country up, and because they used George Bush to niggerize the white race, make them turn them into niggers, you know, they created a situation where then once the white people decide to turn themselves into niggers, all the other races in the world would turn themselves into niggers. So then all the movies and stuff that started coming out, Harold and Kumar and all this other type of stuff, was all of these other Asian people basically cooning themselves out. You see what I'm saying? Become this version of whatever. But at the same time, juxtaposed to that, you had the rise of this person all out the blue who decides he's going to be president, and then because he's a black man and eloquent enough to make everybody say that he seems intelligent, he can win. So based on everybody giving that collective energy, he gets there, we symbolically win, but then materially lose, you see. But at the same time, we were also kind of lamenting was that was really the last time I think that everybody was going to be behind or have a feeling of, you know, something could actually change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gone now. That's gone now. You know what I'm saying? What exists now is this post, or let's say pre-apocalyptic financial doom of human genocide based upon money and the denationalization, which is really the de-spiritualization of the human race to warrant them to be destroyed. Helen Blavatsky.
Wow.
So essentially, we, the remnants of those who actually gave a damn once, right, are left with the choices of how to maintain our section of what it is we perceive as our culture and our people, but our people are those that subscribe to that same ideology. If you think that it's okay to, you know, if you think it's okay to, you know, do whatever and then, you know, beat women up or seek to dominate, you know what I'm saying? Women specifically, but then at the same time you're like, you know, like a relationship counselor or, you know what I'm saying, guidance counselor or something like that. That type of reality can't exist anymore because we're moving into a realm of space where only high resonating conscious energy can sustain itself, whereas anything artificial will automatically begin to downgrade and decay very fast. That's why as soon as this nigga, let's say Herman Cain, using him as an example, as soon as this nigga, I'm watching him on TV and he said, they asked him who he liked, he started talking about Kissinger. I was like, okay, well, maybe he, you know, maybe he just read, you know, some books like this. Then he said, you know, if you could, you know, see a pattern of people who did, he said, you know, Thurgood Marshall. I was like, okay, well, you know, okay. Then he said Clarence Thomas. I was like, it's a wrap. They're gonna get him with a woman, and then boom, 2 weeks later, this nigga is caught up behind some woman when he was the president of Godfather's Pizza, who said that you don't even know what he really said, but he said something, but they can't say what he said. But he said he didn't say it. So you see how it's already turned into a farce, how it's just nothing real. It's nothing real. It's already shown to be nothing. Before this man even get in the office, you got the scandal. So it's like they can't even. This is the problem when we have created or live in a society where everything is a brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what it is anymore. It's like whatever it is, so long as you see it, it's marketing. Like it's whack, man.
It's like they try to pull you deeper into the illusion. They're just caught up on all this trivial stuff when that's really not what's important.
Exactly. Exactly. There can be nothing more important than our species projecting itself into the future consciously. There should be nothing more important than that. These people are seeking to keep things exactly, if not worse, the way that they are. They can't. What are they going to do after this? Based on just you as a black woman living in this society, what could you really see these people doing in the future to benefit anyone?
Nothing.
Like based on what you know in the years that you have lived, what can you see this society become? Like, how could you see this? How could you see them making this society better? And you know what I mean when I say them.
Yeah, I mean, there's something I can't even visualize, or you know what I mean, conceive. I can't conceive that, you know, at all.
Right. Neither can I. So what does that mean?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry to cut your wisdom.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, and they are launching, I think, a projector beam up in the space so they can, like, blast particles approaching the Earth. Yeah. I'm like, really?
They want to turn it blue. This is what we were saying a couple of shows back when we first started going in on the astrophysics on it. They want to turn it blue because it's really somewhat an insignificant thing. It's just that the speed that it's going to have to make when it slingshots around between the Earth and the Moon is going to be kind of hectic. So either the Moon is going to get affected more or we are. But if the Moon is affected, then we are affected, which means you are affected as a black woman, which is probably why they want to shut down the Internet, because they don't want you to be able to go to Google Earth or something, or Google Sky, and check it out. You got to see it for yourself outside, which means if they do project some type of ion-centered beam to it, if it does irradiate it in some sort of beam, it'll look like some sort of like star kind of.
I mean, the energy had been shut it down before it could do anything anyway. So, I mean,
that's
pointless.
the point. If they're saying that it's bad, that means it's good. If they're saying it's good, that means it's bad. You know what I mean? Everything with them is the opposite of what they say it is. So long as you know that that's how they talk, or you just know that when you talk to them, you got to talk like that to them, you good. Because you don't give nothing. In conversation, you give information. You see what I'm saying? But you can't give information to somebody who is who is an informational succubus. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who will use what you tell them against you in the future. So you have to be somewhat sincere and guarded in your communication. And when you feel that you have to monitor what you say to whoever to say whatever, then you know that that's not somebody who is a friend of yours. So we can't make those people our friends. We got to start feeding them with the long spoon and start to detach. Because, like now, anybody you need to cut off between now and the 8th of November would be great. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I prepared that already.
Yeah. Anything you have, taken care of or whatever before then is great. And I'm not trying to even put out there that it's some gloom or doom, and because that's like what everybody's going to do with it, and that's not really the focus of what it is. My issue or point of it is that this thing, the more we didn't do anything to do something about what was happening, we have created, and the conflict that exists between the blue and the red, or the RNA and the DNA in us, has now manifested physically outside of us as this thing manifesting or coming down, because everything out there is a representation of everything in us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's got to be something within you. So if you don't tell that person whatever, and for years and years you repress it, you get cancer. You know?
Yeah.
It manifests as something, because everything that is a thought that is intensified manifests as something physical. Let's see it up there.
Your thoughts are things, and they create this ease. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to hog up all the time. Let somebody else talk. But peace to you and the family. Love and harmony.
Peace, and be safe.
Peace. Thank you. I will.
(832) What's the Wave Radio 3.0?
Hello?
Peace.
Hey, what's up, Aseer?
What's up, G?
Hey, Sean, man.
Hey, man. How you doing, King?
All right. Hey, man, I got a good question for you, man. Man, how do you handle it when your significant other isn't conscious?
Well, when it happened to me, I was at a time when I was, growing in consciousness, and this person acted like they had it but didn't. But specifically, you're in a situation where you have to guard against offending the person and making them feel like they're not as up to speed as you.
Right.
The thing though is that if they're the type to believe in things like, black people, jails are supposed to be, like if you're building on us being cosmic people, and she's still on you being a slave from Africa, you see, you in two different you're in two different, atmospheres. You're not even. So the basis of the relationship then would have to revolve around aspects of materially oriented things like movies, basic or what people perceive as normal or average things. But if you're always looking to the stars, she's always looking to the lights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is always going to be a certain disconnect. And some people can do that. Some people can let people be on the level they at or whatever. But see, then when children come in, then, when things like the black norms like church and baptism and communion and these things, rituals start coming into play, these are the beginnings of the integration of the child into the normalcy, which is the mind-altered aspect of what or who the child really is. Like my son's mother was so screwed up in the head, this chick used to squeeze his nose I would catch her squeezing his nose. And I said, what the hell are you doing? I would leave his nose alone. Well, I don't want his nose to look so. I said, why you got to mess with his nose, man? So, again, those were signs for me that these people were arms of a mentality that is killing black people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But they don't care, you see, because it's about them and their material thing and this and that, and that's cool, But because it's my child, there's also an aspect of the demon that lives in these types of people that needs to break a version of you that they can control. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like his moms would her brutish dudes that you be promising pussy to or whatever would act like his bodyguards in a sense. They would do shit. She would have people so wrapped up in her illusion to keep me from him. She would have I would go to see him at the child's play, and then after the play I go behind the set to see him. They would sneak him out the front and then have the family pull up with the car and then put him in the car, but then not tell me that he's gone. So I'm looking for him in the building. You see what I'm saying? They don't know if shuttled him out the back, and she's standing there not even telling me that this is going down. Why would you do something like that?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially with these people that you was telling me was crazy. But see, once the child comes in, you see, a lot of the old mind control stuff comes back in through the trauma of the birth. So you as the conscious have to navigate through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no child, that may be better because
it's children.
See, so then what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, the tripped out part though is like, man, for the most part, children ask real questions,
Yeah.
And it's like,
but she can't tell them.
Right.
But she can't tell them because she don't know.
Right. And so I'm like,
see, Daddy knows.
I encourage questions because I'm like, God wouldn't want you not to ask and to seek, truth.
Yes.
Why would he even give us a mind to, just sit and
but God is different. What you understand God to be is different than what she knows God to be.
Right.
And unfortunately, the black woman has been turned against herself in this society and has been turned into the black pillar in the image of the high priestess on the tarot card. She's now the pillar upholding this thing, along with the white woman behind the high priestess white woman or the high priest white man, you see. And she's taking that position based upon the mind-altering stuff that happened to her during the, specifically in our generational sphere, between the late 40s and the early 80s. And then after the early 80s, it was a decon. Because then black women was just, all of the movies was about keeping the black family together regardless, trying to flip the system, and then it turned into, you know, all of the black families just broke up behind drugs and crack, which is a natural reflection of what happened, yet it's greatly dramatized, and then this based upon the black woman's aspect where she can entertain drama, like soap operas, stuff like that.
All right.
They can pump all of the extra shit, all of the Oprah, the soap operas, the magazines,
Basketball Wives,
the Basketball Wives, all of that. Or that black women, they need to be petitioning that. You need to create a group of black women and stock them bitches and run up on them because they're making you look like animals. Worse than the strippers because they going to strip clubs. They going to strip clubs. They put strippers money in strippers. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's to the point where the black woman has gotten to the point where she's now divested totally within herself, and that's cool. But that's not cool for the family. So in that, the family is automatically fractured. So it's automatic that the daddy's not there. So if the nigga want to be there, and she's been trained that the nigga's not supposed to be there, the more you show you want to be there, the more she's going to try to force you out. Not because you're a bad dude, but because she don't really know how to deal with you like that. Same thing for the black man. The more you pursue, he'll pursue her, and then once he pursue her and get her pregnant, then freak out now because now you got to commit. So now he's out. It's the same psychosis. It's the same psychosis in the male and the female. It's just exhibited as a male or a female. But what we do is blame all females and all males, black males, for that shit. And then Hollywood makes movies with all the black men with white women or the black women with white men. So that must be how things is going to be in the future, and then things will be nice, great for me. You see beyond that. She may not. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to really weigh where you are in the equation and be honest.
Yeah,
without
offending.
Right.
Without offending her.
Right.
Yeah,
that's where it comes in. Because, see, the fact that you know more about shit is the issue. But the funny thing is that's why she liked you in the beginning.
Right.
But it's like once you get with them, then they don't want to hear nothing from you. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because, you know, the most tripped out part is like, you know, with like church, it's like pretty soon you kind of realize that certain stuff that you either can't get an answer to, or if you even have the nuts to ask it, you immediately get ousted.
Yeah.
And so it's like then as you get older, it's like when you start really kind of peeping the scene, you start seeing stuff in the people in the church that's like worse than outside of that environment.
Yes, because they're serving two masters.
Right. And so I'm just like, man, you know, you could get out of church, dude, and it's like in the parking lot. It's just like gangster in the parking lot, just, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, I know I'm not the only one seeing this.
Yo,
but
Pinky's in the church, right? Pinky in the church now. You did? So I already know it's not Creflo Dollar still in the church. These black people still giving him money. So they can't tell me nothing about what I talk about because they are the exact example of black Nazism. That's black Nazism. You see somebody who obviously has a problem, but we on some, see, it's like the snitching thing in the community. Like, we got it twisted. Like, snitching is dealing with the beast, man. With our own people, there used to be an underworld where people would get dealt with if they did crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So things only got to us so far. But see, what the white man did was overexploit that and shut that and work to shut that down, and then got his own black puppets that helped shut that down. When You don't know where the black community would have been if these black men, and I'm not saying that crime and all of that is whatever and that these niggas wasn't getting their money for themselves, but at the same time they was doing things for the community and in the community. And Huey Newton and these people were setting up situations where they was funneling money into doing things for black people too. Like, this is in Black Brothers Incorporated, that book, and other books, but they don't show that on Black Gangster. You know what I mean? On American Gangster, on Hollywood Channel. And all that is to show you how far you can go to lock us in that mind frame that when you do something to better yourself and your community based on what you're given, you'll go to jail. And then rappers reinforce that. And then women approve of that. And then babies are born from that. So this is a cycle that exists. So if she is not going to elevate for spite of you, because then that's what you got to watch out for too. Sometimes then they just resent you for knowing shit. And then, then it's like, fuck that. Then it's like, let me turn the children against that. Daddy crazy. Mm-hmm. Like you playing tag all the time where you chasing them. Like, watch that type of shit. Because they'll do that to you, man. It happened to me. And it'd be little subtle things like that they showing you. But now you got the intelligence to be able to peep it. It's not paranoid when you were focusing on self-preservation. And you got to preserve yourself, which is your sanity, your soul, and your mind, because your body and your material aspect will always be tested first by those closest to you. That's why your family turn out to be liars when you get older. You see what I'm saying? You can't really confide in them. And those of us that can, you're blessed.
Yeah.
So then that means you need to watch your friends. You ain't in the clear. You just got one less thing to worry about. You see what I'm saying? This is life. This is what it is. When you incarnate on the physical plane, this is what you got to deal with. This is how mucked up these people then let it get. And as our people ruled the last paradigm before this trash heap that we in, we bear the obligation of getting it right for our children and our generational species mind patterns to be able to then project new ideas and new visions of us that are not just based on material things like money and in church and all of these things that have been proven to be failures. All of these things that these black people are telling me that they celebrate and that they're getting awards for are failures. None of these systems have created a situation where you will stop being brutalized by the police, where you have better occupied positions in authority, where you can actually do something. The Congress of the United States is useless because it's mostly black people. This does not mean that black people are useless. It just means that the black people who go into the Congress, you're ultimately going to be useless because you have to go by the head vote of the people above you, and they're all white. So the people with all the real power are white. The janitors and the people who come in and protest shit are always the ones who don't got no money, and they the ones who represent the most people. So what are they telling you? They're telling you that you're not in the right venue. You're not in the right person yet. You don't really have no voice yet because you have not really occupied a space in your own self to tell me what and who you are. So you are what I tell you are.
Right.
But there's no law. There's no law in the United States that says that you have to be president of the United States. But there's no law that says that you can't. But there is a law that says that you can't take the title of nobility from another nation if you become president of the United States. All of these niggas is knights and dukes and barons and all of that. And they run in this country. So that means you bow to the queen when you see her. You kiss the Pope ring when you see him. You bow to the Saudi emperor when you see him. You a slave. But you get to tell me what to do? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? These niggas is politicking with my bread. You're supposed to be there politicking for me. telling me, no, Saudi Prime Minister, you got to get his back. We're going to drop a nuke on you. You need to give $10,000 whatever million to Detroit so we can rebuild this thing, and we'll call it even for consulting fees of us upgrading your army.
Right.
Where you ain't even got to pay for shit. This nigga, he could talk. You could flip it where you ain't even got to pay for nothing. You say, okay, you want some more oil? Okay. You want me to buy more oil and gold? Okay, I'll do that. But just make sure that money that I'm giving you in gold, you give it back to me in gold off the back end so I can reinvest it into my treasury. And we'll call it even. And to show you good faith, I'll withdraw 15,000 troops. Or I'll get rid of this nigga. Who you don't like, I'll get rid of him. Then it makes sense. But these niggas want to kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? They want to take all the money. They want to kill everybody. That's not cool, man. What part of the game is that?
Check this out. How you feel about on the paper money, it says, in God we trust. Can you kind of reflect on the financial meaning of a trust and the fact that it's saying, in God we trust?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not trust like I believe in you, but like a financial,
like money, like a trust fund.
Right.
Yes.
What's your
take
take
about
on that?
In the class right now, the trust fund. This was set up as the family trust. This is what we talked about as self-executed family trust. The original family trust that was set up was based in the family of nations. The family of nations was the operating force of nations from time immemorial. There was just rules that was just always done when it dealt with different people from different places. They substituted that with a fake League of Nations, which didn't work, and then to set up a United Nations to get away from what they could never be a part of, which was the family of nations. So now they've got everybody believing that the United Nations is the real shit when the family of nations is still existing. The articles and things to make it happen is still here. You'll hear the devil talk about how the Articles of Confederation and the Articles of Association were horrible and they were whack because they didn't give the American colonies or whatever any power. That's what made them dope, was the fact that the colonies had no power. Who had power was the Republic. The colonies were run as a democracy internally, and externally they were a dominated monarchy where they had to pay rent to us as landlords and to this dude as they king. So essentially, they really had no say. They did whatever we told them to do or whoever owned them told them what to do. But in history, they don't call themselves slaves. They call us the slaves, and they call them captains of the colony, you know, or frontiersmen or immigrants or Puritans. That's all slaves, homesteaders. All of these are debt slaves who are owned by the Holy Roman Empire, black nobility royalty of Europe that was bleached out between the years of specifically 1492 and 1776 in total. So specifically speaking, these people don't really have a tie really to anything, yet they own everything because that's how they are able to run everything, because they don't own anything. Once you own something, you have total liability. So what they do is make black people and people in general own the debt, make them think that they're actually the corporate citizen when they're not. There's a difference between a citizen of the United States and an American citizen. An American citizen is considered a national in their fiction, whereas a United States citizen is somebody born at the time of their birth, which is a corporation, which means that an American citizen, i.e., is then a U.S. corporation. So anytime you hear them talking about a U.S. corporation for sale or a U.S. corporation on NASDAQ or YDEX or whatever else it is, they're talking about people. Mortgage-based securities, mortgage-backed securities, that's people. Future securities, this is people potentially who will be locked up in the future, as well as the dollar value that's attached to that practice, which is all based on an equation that is not even real. You know what I'm saying? This is why they're the devil, because all of it is based on nothing. It's based on air. So the trust that was set up essentially was the trust that God had put out in form of the original so-called dominion or the kingdom, which in the Kabbalah is called Malkuth, which in reality is the reality that we're supposed to be living in, but we've been diverted into this one. So in this reality, which is a divergent reality, Eden and all of that is a myth. But in the original reality, as the diagram was laid out, we are living in the actual real Eden, and it's dope. But that level of consciousness probably in that reality is not as high as this one in yours, as yours in this one. So you can mentally project yourself and bring energy of that here to make you better here, to be able to then, once you leave here, take all of that up so you never have to go through this level of it again, you know. That's why it's so beautiful at the same time.
Right.
You know? Yet, love, like I said, is not really something that can be explained in a book, you know? It's representative of what I'm talking about in terms of the things that mean the most here are things that you can't really touch, that you can only see the evidence or the physical representation of, you know? So love, you know, being one of them, is seen in what the action is, how much you will do for the other person. You know, how much of yourself you will give freely without trying to own the person that you're getting with. But the type of love that a lot of our brothers and sisters have grown up with has been the opposite of that, is that if I got this ring on you, I own you. I could do whatever I want. That's all based on the white man. The white man came up with the ring. That wasn't some shit that we had in Africa. Even when it wasn't, quote-unquote, ancient Africa, niggas wasn't wearing wedding rings. It was a known fact. Once you was together, you was together. The ring was the child. Niggas will spend more money on the damn ring than instead of taking that same money and opening up a trust fund, see, for the child that they're going to have. Because black people do shit for show, man, and that shit is real. But it's like when you keep it that real, it's like, oh, well, that means it's like we all whack. It's like, yes, we're all whack to a degree. We've all been whack like that. So let's stop being whack and let's do something. Let's really make something happen, man. You know? It's great, man. But that's all you could do, bro, you know? Essentially is maintained, you know, and inshallah, you know, love will conquer all.
Right.
You know, but if not, you have to be strong enough to be able to make the hard choices that the daddies in this reality always have to make. No matter how good you are, they'll never let you be a good person if they're making the situation horrible. Because they can always get somebody who was always hating on you from the beginning to co-sign you being whack all of a sudden. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Most of the enemies that I got are people who started off as being cool with me, but I stopped fucking with them. You see what I'm saying? It was never the opposite around. Or I never fucked with them in the beginning at all. And I'm being graphic to illustrate the point and the resonance of the situation. You know? But again, no matter how good you want to be, no matter how cordial you are to any of these people, if they want to be your enemy, they will turn themselves into that. And a lot of them don't even realize that they are that. You know? And unfortunately, it a lot of the times manifests between the mother and the father in our community. We start off as lovers and everything is great or whatever, and then what? The story is he always cheats on her and then she has to go back home, and then it's always the same story. Is it really always the same story, or is it this is what we're saying the story is? What are they doing to these women who are having these C-sections and these babies that all of them right after the C-sections and the babies, they wind up breaking up with the husband, and then the husband winds up getting up with another girl who's got a baby with some other guy, and then that guy's with his baby mom. Like, people don't see that this is a selective breeding process that we are being put and forced into, that it's not always just the choices that you're making that's making these things happen. Are we that naive to believe that you are so vain as a people? Are we so vain and egotistical as a people to feel that we have total control of everything in our lives, that when you say that you're a sovereign, you become sovereign and file paperwork, that automatically makes you in total 100% control of your life? Are we all really in control of ourselves, of our lives like that? No. But those of us who can say that we aren't are those of us who really are. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's always the opposite, bro, in this place. To make you think the opposite is better. It's so hard to blow up, pop off where you're from. You always got to go somewhere else and blow up. That was never in our society. You blow up where you was at because the people appreciated who you were and who you are. And there's still black people who are like that. There's a lot of us that's still like that, But we are all, there's a version of you in every block within a 15 square mile radius. There's somebody exactly like you on the same type of shit you on. And they're going through almost the reverse or situations like you going through with the same or trying to build on the same type of content, listen to the same show, same time, and that's all of us. That's our community right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you're not really alone. It's just that you got to work to make your environment reflect who and what you want to be and who and what you are. If there's anything in your environment that's throwing that off, it's going to impede who you ultimately are going to want to be. And you're not going to be used to yourself or anybody else if you allow that to continue. Or if you do, just know that it's a conscious choice that you're making. Therefore, you have to work to create a space in which you can be that person all the time for her. You see what I'm saying? And then live like that. But she's not going to want that. You know what I'm saying? Because she wants it all. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Are you there?
Yeah, man, that's what's up.
You know what I mean? Like it's not as bleak though as it may feel, man. And this is what you're going through is part of the whole process of waking up, man. You know? Like, think about the movie The Matrix as a horrible example, but literal. Like, when he woke up to find out that he was in a tube or some shit and had this thing in his mouth and all that, like, he couldn't just wake up into that. He had to have he had to have a mental journey where he was actually met some people and was brought up into this place and it was given a choice. And you see what I'm saying? Like, they can't just spring nothing on you. They can't just pop up in your crib. There's always a warning. There's always something, you know what I mean, that's there prior to that. That's why this whole thing that happened with this brother we talked about earlier is totally messed up, because there's no warning and there was no real application or name to assign to it. So it was just open for whoever. So, again, this is an example of them still operating on the same function. And unfortunately, the church are functionaries of that, because you have pastors in these churches, you black women, that's auxiliaries and deaconesses and all that. You got pastors who have agreements with police to provide them with information on you, on your family, on your sons specifically. Where this reports of pastors getting bounties off of where niggas done confided in them and they done tipped off the cops and they got the warrant money. Got the ransom money. This is what's going on, man. It's not just them having sex with kids. You have instances of these pastors, these Christian, beautiful pastors who are telling you that what people like me is the devil and what we're saying is not true and all of that, who is out there literally pimping the church. Again, my mother's pastor, they had a beautiful brownstone, 100-year-old church. This nigga conned them into moving their church into a supermarket. That shit is in a supermarket right now, son. You understand? Like, this is the level of the game that black people is playing on, and we got to rise above that. So you, brother, being there are a physical example every day of what it is they want to be and what it is they are denying. So you are the Christ that they are denying that's among them. That started walking with Tobias and Obadiah on the way to Nineveh. So that way, what's his name, could give the sermon and shit. And they didn't even know that it's you. But it's you. You there. But you are what? Forgiving them of their sins, right? You letting them be in their ignorance, right? And letting them live their life. And all you want to do is be left alone. But what? All they want you to do is what? Bow to a false god. Bow down to a false image. Which is what? An image of who? The white man. So what does that mean? That means God got to be the opposite of that. You see what I'm saying? Right. He tell you himself. He has feet of brass and hair of wool and all that. So every god that you could think of in reality is ascribed to a human aspect that always happened to be black. But the only white god out of all the 135 gods and religious systems that exist in the world, the only one that's white is the one from Christianity that is perpetuated specifically amongst people of color. And you're crazy because you know that. So that's what I mean. You got to learn to, while you're there, not take things personal, not worry about what these people are going to do. Understand things how you understand them. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Do your job. Get out. Sage yourself before you go up in there. Take a goat's milk bath every 7 days. You know what I'm saying? Get you a what you call it, practice your meditation or whatever, and pray for them, yo. Because that's really all you could do. And be there for as long as you can. But when they try to do something to orchestrate to get you out of there, and so long as it's not too slanderous or whatever, get your money and get out, man. Because you got a lot of big things to do, you know?
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
So, thank you, my brother, for calling, man, and going in with us for this long. It's been really, really peace, man. And like I said, things is just, sometimes the more bleak things are, the more better they're about to be, you know? So definitely maintain. Hey there, guys, anybody at me, holler at us. Please holler at us about the classes that we're building on now, this whole foreclosure thing, the possible remedies for those people who have had their homes taken or things like that. We're going to be building on those, the literal aspect of that situation as well as the metaphysical aspect of it. So it's going to be a well-rounded aspect. You can definitely holler at me at houseofl@hotmail.com, as well as you can hit me up at you can also check out www.Aseer the Duketeers at .com. You can check out the Black Nazi tape that Brother Monty was sharing with us. Peace to him. Peace to our condolences and hearts go out to the family of the brother who was victimized, the Moorish brother was victimized. And again, let this be a call to arms to everybody, especially up there, you know, start to represent, do something, holler at them, file injunctions, motions, tie the court system up. That's one thing the Moors could do. Everybody could just bombard the, you know what I'm saying? Niggas could do a lot. But it got to be a unified thing. And the reason why they can victimize us individually is because none of us are really standing together. And let this be a lesson to us all that if this can happen to a brother who is a pillar of the community, all of us are at risk, man. And we have too much to do as a people to be victimized constantly by people who do not have our best interests in mind. We got to stop helping them kill us. If those people who are in those organizations quit, man, you can do something else. You could get unemployment. You could get something else going, man. Stop helping them, man. You're better than that. You can be better than that. But you're not going to be by being around people who potentially is going to victimize and kill you and blame it on some other nigga. So let's keep it real and be real in keeping it. So, in that again, holler at me about our natural equity class on how to rise above the zombie banks at houseofl@hotmail.com. You can email me. We can send you the flyer. You can get in on this upcoming Wednesday's class. So again, check out www.aseerthedetective.com as well as www.sagasod.com and www.superheruradio.com and www.newmoorishrenaissance.com. So with that, guys, we say peace, and inshallah we'll speak to you on Monday night.